All right. Good morning, baseball and coffee, everybody. The grounds crew. It's 10:30. I had to back it up half an hour today because my daughter Oakley had a thing at school. Put more of these up on the store. There's another 10 of them up on here. They went out pretty quick last summer. We just got the shipment back in. If anybody's interested in them, they're insulated. Big old coffee to go cups. Hope everybody's great this morning. We're going to watch, obviously, McLean so we can feel a little better about things in Mets land, that they have a golden god pitcher on their team. We're going to watch Dolander. We'll investigate both rivalries. There's some other stuff. I have a bunch written down. I think James Wood might be re-going off. There's some things. So appreciate you guys. Excited to get this going today. Hopefully today is a Mets win. Last night was rough, obviously. We all know that. Antonacci, first home run, my guy. Team Paisan. What else we got here? Yep, Dolander. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 9 Ks, and gets the loss at Coors. How frustrating is that? I would say very. Murakami video, looking better by the day. I told you this guy was starting to figure out. He homered on a changeup yesterday, which we'll also watch. Good morning, AO, coming to you live from LaGuardia. It's going to be so awesome when the Mets win a game next year. Have fun in New Orleans, I think. That's what I saw in the Discord. That should be great. Enjoy that. All right. Let's hop in it. Let's hop in it today. See where we're at in the world and start watching some stuff from last night. There wasn't as many games overall, but there was still plenty of stuff that happened, obviously. So here we go. Wednesday, April 22nd, standings. Good morning, grounds crew. Yep, Varland 1 pitch save. This guy might pitch 90 games if he's not careful this year. 85, 90 games, which is great and all. But now I'm starting to change my opinion. Like, if I'm him, I want to go to the closer role now and protect myself from getting used every game. You can't be the fireman and the backup closer every game. You know what I'm saying? All right, Yankees beat the Sox last night. They're 14-9. They're in first in the AL East, 2 games up on Tampa. Boston was the loser in that game. They're in last, 5 games back of the Yankees at 9-14. Blue Jays have won 3 in a row. They've been playing a lot better. They continue their series against the Angels. They're in fourth right now at 10-13. Central, Cleveland, 14-11. 1 game up on Minnesota. Kansas City's really struggle bus. They're right there with the Mets, 8-16. They did win yesterday. Thankfully, they were trailing most of that game. I have to do their game on Sunday, so I'm hoping they start playing a little better right now just to make it a little more exciting. All right, that's the Central. The West, the A's, 13-11 with a -14 run differential, are in first place, half up on the Rangers. The very injured Astros are 9-16. They're also in a little bit of early trouble here. Braves finally lose a game. So that drops their run differential into a tie with the Dodgers at +55. They are 16-8, 5 games up on the Marlins. Mets are now 8.5 back in last place at 7-16. You know, kind of under the radar on this stream, Phillies have a worse run differential and are 8-15. Only a half game ahead of the Mets in fourth place. So those are 2 teams that, frankly, I thought were going to be at the top of this division. And so far, I'm looking like dead wrong. All right, Central, we talked about how dominant this division's been so far. The Reds are 16-8. They're in first. They've won 5 in a row. They're a game and a half up on the Cubs, who have won 7 in a row. Pirates are in last place now, but they're 13-10, only 2.5 back. Really weird to see this division performing so well out of the gate. Even the Cardinals with a -8 run differential are 5 games up. So that's pretty crazy. Phillies have the worst run differential in the league. Man, they are really scuffling. But Will says, don't worry, they have a good Sierra, though. Appreciate that, Will, but that doesn't win any ball games. You know what I'm saying? All right, in the West, Padres and Dodgers are now tied at 16-7 as the Dodgers lose to the Giants last night. Great outing by our guy Landon Roop, who we checked in his last outing. His very interesting pitcher with a good curveball. He diced up some Dodgers yesterday. So anyway, Padres 16-7, Dodgers 16-7. My Rockies are 9-15, 7.5 back at the moment. So those are our standings. Let's hop in the chat for 2 seconds, see what we got going on here, and then we will hop right into Some baseball watching. Do you think Langoliers can be the second catcher to hit 50 home runs? I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe I should take a peek at his stats right now. I mean, he's obviously I've been saying he's the second best catcher in the league. But at the moment, with Cal Raleigh not off to the same start, he's the best catcher in the league. He's hitting 312 with 8 pumps, 613, 992 OPS. I know defensively he doesn't match up quite as good as the others, although this year, 97th percentile in blocks. He's about neutral in caught stealings. He is bad at framing, which is really hurting them because they don't have the horses pitching wise. But that's not the question. The question is, can he hit 50? So he's got 8 right now. He's on pace for it. And he plays in a good park to hit dingers. So, yeah, maybe. I'm not going to say no. But, the odds are no. The odds are he'll, fizzle into the high 30s or in the 40s. But fizzle, that's pretty damn good fizzle right there. But he's got it in him. No doubt about it. 31 last year, 8 already in the early going here. And he is absolutely dialed at the plate. All right, what else we got here? One of the least dominant 6+ innings, no-run outings from Luis Gil. Yep, that's why I still think he's ticketed to probably not stay in the rotation, but he has owned the Red Sox. He's got like a .5 ERA in his career versus the Sox. He just doesn't give up runs against them, despite not getting a lot of swing and miss. Shea Bangaliers is the most underrated player in the game. It's just because he's in. The A's. Obviously, think about all the catching that the Braves have had, though. I mean, they had d'Arnaud, Murphy, Contreras, Langoliers. There's some others I'm probably forgetting, but they've had some really good catchers. Suzuki. I mean, they've never had a problem at catcher over a really long period of time. The Braves. Elly was on the thumb, so we'll probably watch him. I want to dig in on him a little bit. Hey, AO, Mets winning tonight. The only Sierra that can help them right now is Ruben. I like that. Oh, yeah, Drake Baldwin is another one. Forgot about that. I saw Randy Vasquez pitched well. If we have time, maybe I'll take a peek at him. He's not the most exciting guy to look at, but eventually he will demand our attention since he's been doing well so far. Bangaliers has had an OPS above 950 since July of last year. That's phenomenal. If you're looking for hope, remember that the Astros started 7-19, ended up winning the division. And then Will the Heat fan's been asking about Otto Lopez for a while. Hats are restocked. The caps are back, so check the store, baseballandcoffee.com, if you want to grab one of these in the blue or the green. I sense that the blue is more popular now all of a sudden. I think this green, seems like this green was hot color, but now I feel like everybody's kind of pivoting off that. All right, so I know we got a lot of Met fans in the building, and it certainly wasn't this guy's fault. I mean, although he did end up, giving up 3 runs when it's all said and done. But every single time this guy pitches, we're going to watch every pitch he throws because he's the most interesting, fascinating pitcher in the big leagues, in my opinion. It's incredible how dominant he is. And he legitimately had a shot, in my opinion. I thought there was a world in which I was doing a video last night on a perfect game. I mean, what was he? Perfect through 4? I mean, he has the stuff to legitimately throw a no-hitter. It's coming. He reminds me a lot of Arrieta in 15, the way he's throwing the rock right now, and it's Nolan McLean. Last night, 6 2/3, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, 10 strikeouts. Did get clipped for the home run by Buxton, which we'll talk about that as well. We talked about it a little bit on the Discord. First of all, Ron Darling was spot on, so we'll talk about it when it comes. He's just such a good analyst, and I thought he really put some good stuff out there yesterday that made a lot of sense after Buxton homered. So we'll talk about that when we get there. Here's the breakdown on Lightning McLean. 44 sinkers. So it's crazy. I mean, he's doing the Skeens thing. He's altering his pitch mix depending on the opponent or the day. And honestly, he's got so many good options. He can do it. Like, not everybody can pitch to a scouting report, or not everybody can alter their approach. So a lot of people are who they are with their mix, but not McLean. 44 sinkers, 17 sweepers, 15 changeups, 12 fastballs, only 6 of his demon curveballs, and 5 cutters last night. He did get 30% whiff. You would think he would up the curveball percentage. I mean, he's getting ridiculous whiff on the season on it, so I would expect that to tick up a little bit more, but either way, he doesn't really use it much right now unless it's 2 strikes. First pitch strikes last night, 60%, 53% zone rate, 26% chase. So actually kind of ho-hum on the numbers for him. For most guys, this would be pretty amazing, but you know what? Let's just go watch it. So it's the Minnesota Twinkies and the New York Metropolitans, Nolan McLean, and we're going to watch every pitch of this outing because this guy deserves it, you know? This is what this show is really all about. All right, sinker in, first pitch of the game to Mr. Buxton in the cold gear. Sinker in, and actually he tipped that. So that's 1-1. And sinker in again. So you see the plan all game was to jam sandwich, peanut butter and jam sandwich Buxton. So the first 3 pitches of the game are all sinkers up in. Two end up being for effect, 1 in the zone. He jumps ahead to 1-2. Here comes a 4-seam up. Also in. Shave some chest hair right there. And now he's going to go to the backdoor sinker, I would guess. No, yeah, backdoor sinker. But again, it leaks in for the happy accident, swing and miss. So that's 5 pitches, all up in. Almost all sinkers, 1 with a fastball and 1 with a 4-seam, but just crowds the heck out of a guy. So again, he's one of the few guys that can really pitch to a scouting report. All right, Mitch has got a comment here in the early going. He's going to have to find a way to be more pitch efficient. He wants to get in the 8th, 9th inning. He gets to 0-2 and then have NC chase attempts, and he's back to 3-2 with too many batters. Yeah, I mean, he's going to figure out how to become more efficient over time. I would agree with you. I do think how much his pitches move at times kind of prohibit him from always being very precise. But I would also say, like, as good as his sweeper is, it doesn't probably generate as much chase as he would hope. All right, so jumps ahead 0-2. That's I mean, his changeup metric is getting to just the absolute insane levels, too. You know, we've talked about his breaking balls being best in the game, but negative 6.1 on the kick change. I mean, this is ridiculous. And I know that maybe this brings up some, like, I know as a Met fan, it's maybe hurts to watch McLean a little bit because you're not getting any wins out of it right now. Man, he's really missing arm side early with the sinker. But, I mean, at some point, this guy's going to translate to wins. There's a changeup away, swing and miss. So punches the first 2 guys. Here comes who? Keishall? No, Josh Bell. Sinker away, foul ball. Here's a 4-seam. I also think that he'll get at times. Some teams will take the tact of trying to not swing on him a lot. Just because they know they kind of can't hit him. I mean, what's his hits allowed on the season? It's super low. I think he has the best opponent batting average of any starter in the league. So once that's a fact, and then you see that there's some wildness in there or zone rate drop off, guys will just stand there and try to walk. All right, so a nice 1-2-3 first inning. Goes front door sinker to Josh Bell there, chops it to first. We're on to the second now. Here is Ryan Jeffers, and there's the first sinker that he didn't leave super arm side. Got it in the right lane there. It's just crazy turbo action. Strike 1, very nice. Change up down ball. Here comes another sinker. So no breaking balls here in the early going. Sinkers and changeups. A couple 4-seamers. 2-2. Here comes a sweeper. Pretty easy take there. To Mitch's point. And 4-seam up. Gets above the barrel. He does a good job of mixing the sinker and the 4-seam, especially the righties. Like, he rides the sinker majority of the time, picks his spots with the 4-seam, which is what you need to do. Left-handed hitter here. Mr. Clemens, first pitch sinker strike. Here comes a sweeper. Doesn't quite get back to the corner there. 1-1 sinker. Running up and away, gets the swing and miss on the chase, and then he's going to get another one on the sinker here. They go for the front door, gets the happy accident ride ball. And you can see his reaction. Watch McLean's face. Not happy about it. And that's the sign of a great pitcher because he's holding himself to a higher standard. Yes, he gets the strikeout, but he knows that wasn't a good pitch. Or not what he intended for, at least, so I love that about him. All right, 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Luke Keishall. First pitch up in sinker ball. Second pitch 4-seam drilled in there. He's underneath that. Sweeper coming here. See, they have no problem taking the sweeper if it's like, unless it's like right off the corner, they pretty much don't swing at it. So that's one issue. I mean, I dealt with that a lot. It's not a big chase pitch. It just isn't. All right, four-seam coming here. Doors. It's a good thing about his fastball. I don't love his four-seam fastball that much, although that one had a better metric, had more lift on it. It's just that he throws it hard and he's picking his spots well. All right, third inning. Mr. Wallner, who's in a slump. First pitch, sinker down. Now, I don't like sinker to Wallner. Wallner, you should pepper four-seamers up. There's that vicious curveball. I've been waiting for it. I expect him to throw this more at some point. This is like the best curveball in the whole world. Yuck. 0-2 count. Going to go back to it here. Can't hold on to it that time. And then he's going to punch him with the four-seam up. I told you, Matt Wallner, you can doors him four-seam every time up in the zone. You know, it's just that's his big weakness. It's funny when guy has one obvious glaring thing that it's like, just get to a count where you can throw it and you're punched. So that's what McLean did there. All right, here's Royce. Sinker in, changeup down. Man, that was gross, but he doesn't get the swing. Now 1-1 sweeper. Yuck. He's still getting more depth on the sweeper than he did last year, which I think for strike throwing purposes is not as good. But obviously, it hasn't really changed his effectiveness much. I mean, you know, maybe if we're looking to be a little more efficient. And then this pitch has just really become insane. I mean, look at the drop on this. Comes out, fastball, fastball, fastball. It's not till about there that it starts to hit the deck. I mean, what are you supposed to do if you're Royce Lewis? You have to protect the bottom of the zone. Yee. Unreal. Simply unreal. All right, 9-hole hitter, Brooks Lee. First pitch, sinker. Runs it away, arm side. Sinker again. Pipes it down the middle. Here's the first cutter we see. Up in. Don't love that pitch, but gets the foul ball. Front door sinker. Ooh, would have had it. Executed that, but doesn't get the call, and Alvey didn't feel confident enough to challenge this. This is a hell of a pitch, though. Wow. Nasty. And now he's going to try it again, and this time he's going to get it. We didn't get a good view of it, so we'll watch it on center field cam. It's just such a good pitch. You know, we've seen Will Warren, who's leading the league in these types of pitches. It becomes addictive, and McLean is already hooked, I can tell. He's on the drip. He's on the morphine drip. All right, Buxton again. He's going to work him in once again. Sinker in. Every pitch has been in to this point. Sinker coming again. In target. This time he pulls it away for a strike. Now to the changeup. Doesn't even flinch on that. And then another up-in jam sandwich. So, really just pounding Buxton in. Honestly, it looks like a great game plan to me. He can't get his arms extended at all. All right, sweeper back door. What do we got here? Hey, yo, McLean's sweeper situation reminds me of Lincecum when he came to Major Leagues. Curveball was so good it didn't get swings. Needed to find better pitch for Chase. Changeup and slider, which became his best pitches. You know, I can kind of agree to that a little bit, Mitch. I mean, yeah, like, this reminds me of me in Double-A. Like, I had a huge curveball, but the ball would pop, and it had so much total movement that, you know, a lot of times guys would be able to hold up on it. You know, it wasn't that fast, but it had so much break that if they didn't swing, it would probably break out of the zone. I'd have to start it so high to drop it into the zone. And Lincecum, you're right, it was the same deal. It was almost too nasty where nobody would swing at it. So he had to find another pitch to garner some chase. And I think that's why you're seeing him go to more changeups now. But I think he just needs to use that sweeper in zone. It's not going to get a lot of bad contact in zone. I know he gets clipped for a home run on it in this game, but still. All right, Josh Bell. Perfect front door sinker there. That was nasty. Same with Kershaw. Curveball may have been public enemy #1, but it was the slider that made him the best. Yeah, I mean, the slider is the pitch that was Kershaw's best pitch through his career. The curveball, everybody liked to talk about it. I always felt like it was a little bit of a high school curveball, to be honest with you. It just was so good at how he would deploy it late in counts and freeze guys because it was such a departure from the fastball and the slider bearing in on the righties, or they wouldn't be able to hold up if he buried it. So even though it was a huge movement, you know, he didn't try to make it his primary pitch. All right, 5th inning.
He would take Nolan to the park at 9 o'clock.
McLean's last start was played in 30 to 40 degree. Did you find your pitches tended to miss targets in cold temps? No. The only man warm on the field in this temperature is the pitcher, maybe the catcher as well. Like, you're warm, you're out there working, you feel fine. The only issue you have to deal with in the cold a little bit is just like if it's dry and there's cold wind, like keeping your hand with a little bit of moisture so you can have some texture. Now that's a vicious sweeper. This one looked late. Yeah, and that's another aspect of a good sweeper. A good sweeper, to get chase, actually starts right out of the hand. It doesn't go straight. If it goes straight, then it's going to be too far left, but it goes right out of the hand before going back left. That will mess up the hitter, and occasionally that will get the chase. So really good pitch there to punch Jeffers. Yeah, Jeffers. They're showing some replays there. There's a first pitch sweeper. There's positive vert. There we go. He's got it locked in. That's a strike. And then front door sinker, fly out to left. I don't like all the front door sinkers necessarily before 2 strikes because it's like they're probably going to swing at it, you know, unless you've set it up properly, but it just seems like he loves this lane so much that he's going to it in all sorts of counts. Anyway, fly out to bench. All right, now another 2-pitch out here. Luke Keishel here. Sweeper down for a ball, and then a sweeper for an out. So, perfect through 5. And that's when I started to think, man, like, no hitter, a perfect game. They're both definitely on the table in this one. It's cold. This guy's gross. You know, he's going to put his foot down. All right, 6th inning. Wallner. First pitch, changeup, ball. Second pitch, sinker. Like, for example, I don't like this pitch choice. It works out. Actually, it doesn't work out. That's a hit. Hate this pitch choice. Matt Wallner is blue as can be at the top of the zone, swing and miss all day. You're doing him a favor by going sinker here. Now, I guess the mindset is hold back the 4-seam for the strikeout later. Get ahead with the sinker now and fuck him up more. But I don't know. I think it's a little dumb. Guys are going to be aggressive. They need to get a hit to break the no-hitter up. Anyway, base hit there by Wallner starts this inning off. Second batter here is Royce Lewis, also aggressive on a first pitch sinker. Actually, a decent little swing, but he got jammed. 93-4 flies it out to Beatty. So 1 out man on first, and here is Brooks Lee. Backdoor sweeper strike. Now he's got his sweeper for strikes going. That's the whole purpose of it, in my opinion. Cutter down in, didn't like that pitch either, but he got it into a good location enough. Fouls it off his foot. 0-2. Changeup, I love this. Just starts it too low. Pickoff attempt. And then he's going to punch him with a curveball. There's just nobody with a curveball like this. This is ridiculous. 3,200 RPM. Total movement here, 32 inches. 33 inches almost. Look, check this thing out. Comes up out of the hand. And by the time it crosses, it's barely touching the bottom. I mean, this is the best curveball in the game. I don't care what anybody says. It's just filthy. He should throw it more. Every time with 2 strikes to a lefty, they're never going to hit that. All right, here's the famous Buxton at-bat, and we'll talk a little bit about what I was talking about. Remember, he worked him in the first 2 at-bats. All right, first pitch, sinker, pulled away for a ball. Second pitch, sinker. Way inside for a ball. So 2-0. Here comes a called strike on a sweeper. Now this was important because Buxton got a look at that sweeper shape. First one he's seen all game. It pops at him. It ends up middle in. He's kind of got it measured a little bit. And keep in mind, he doesn't really want to swing at those sinkers in that he just swung at the first 2 at-bats because he didn't do anything against them. So anyway, there's the sweeper. And then here comes the heater in. Almost hits him. Now, he gives Buxton a look here. Now, you can't really see it right here, but there's a moment where he kind of like gives Buxton a look like, my bad, I shouldn't have done that. And then what Ron was saying was that he basically tells him, I'm not coming in there again right here. I didn't mean to do that, you know? And so now Buck can go ahead and hunt the outside corner. Oh, so it's a cutter that he gets him on. This pitch also makes no sense. And he comes around it and smashes it for a 2-run home run and gets the Twins back within 1. Now, what Ron was saying is any type of feedback you give to the batter, is probably a mistake, and I kind of agree with him. We were always taught to always pretend, no matter where the pitch went, that you meant to do it, you know? And if you hit a guy, you don't be apologetic about it. Yeah, get off my plate, you know? That's what I wanted to do. I'm throwing the ball in. I'm throwing the ball in. I'm throwing the ball in. But he gave him a little feedback like, man, I'm not trying to hit you. That's my bad. So now Buxton immediately then is feeling more comfortable that the next pitch is going to be away, and he's able to dive and hit this cutter for a home run, even though this pitch is just a dumb pitch. But he's also a great player, and you got to make him a little uncomfortable in the box. So I thought Ron Darling did a good job explaining how that could potentially matter. But either way, you got to execute the swing, and Buxton does. 101.2 at 34, and he gets them within 1 run. All right, then he's going to give up another hit here. First pitch, four-seam to Larnach. Beats him to the spot and bloops it in there in front of Beatty. And now Josh Bell. Four-seam in, fouled off. You see the aggression on the Twins. They know that they can't do anything with this guy behind in the count. So you see they're trying to swing at it a little bit. Change-up coming here, and he's going to get him out to get out of the 6. Now, at this point, I'm trying to remember how many pitches he had. This was pitch number 81, so yeah, he was definitely going out for the 7th. And honestly, outside of, you know, one bad pitch, he's still very, very much in control. And then he ends up getting clipped for another run to tie the game here in the 7th. Let's see if we can detect any noticeable drop-off in, you know, effectiveness here. Sinker in. Sinker pull, sinker again. I just think maybe third time through, there's a challenge, and that gets turned into a ball. I don't know. I just think he has such good breaking balls that at some point it would have made a lot of sense for him to just go to them in this game. Like, even as good as these sinkers are, like that's gross comeback sinker. This is the Ottavino special right here, the right on right backdoor fastball. I just think as you go more and more into the lineup and you see guys for a third time, and you've been holding back your breaking balls most of this game, why not just go heavy breaking ball attack this last time through? They're the best pitches in the league, so I don't know. But I also don't know who's calling the pitches. I would imagine they're letting McLean cook, but I don't know. Nasty changeup there. Here comes a curveball for a ball. No. And then sinker here. So again, another 2-strike sinker. He's fallen in love a little bit with the front door sinker attempt. And this one doesn't get to the happy accident position. Tries to get, if it gets to here, hold on. If it gets to here, he's going to get the swing through. Obviously, he's trying to dot you right here, but you see neither of those happen. He kind of misses in the middle, and people are kind of anticipating it because he's throwing so many of them. And I think that's why Clemens is able to get on top of that and rip that in there for the double. Good hustle by him. I wonder if Taylor let this go if we have a play at second. Looks like it would have been offline. Timing-wise, yes, but Lindor was already moving off the bag, so that would have been offline. All right, so man on second, and here is Keishel.
Tying run in scoring position with 1 out.
Slider ball 1, and a double sweeper here. And a good job by Keishel. So that time he let him see one and then doubled up on it, and the second one's more hittable. And it's just, honestly, it's a good swing by Keishel. So, I mean, it's a great breaking ball. I actually don't have a problem with the pitch call. But, you know, don't get it twisted. The first pitch that he got to see definitely helped him hit that second one. And so that tied up the game. And now we going to let him pitch his last batter here versus Wallner. Force him away. Sweeper coming here. Oh, look at Grady Sizemore rocking the 0. Definitely looks a little bit off location-wise here in the 7th. But, you know, it's heavy carrying the whole team on your back. I'll say that. You know, it's pretty tiring carrying the whole ball club on your back. Wow, that's a vicious changeup. Negative 5.8. Yuck. Curveball away ball. And then he's going to end his outing on another really good changeup to Wallner here. Kind of got lucky there that Lindor was positioned well. Again, I still think he's got fastball up all day to Wallner here. I don't mind his changeup because it's so nasty, and I thought he was going to throw it below the zone. But you're doing Wallner a favor when you don't throw him a fastball up with 2 strikes. So. Anyway, great outing. He ends up, that run doesn't score. They end up losing it later. We won't even go into that. Devin Williams just had zero command, and now that's definitely a real problem right now. But McLean, what can I say about him, you know? I mean, yeah, he gives up the 3 runs. You got to credit Buxton a little bit for the swing he took there. But overall, he pitched great again. I mean, no walks. This time, you know, he was basically headed for 7 or 8 innings until a couple poor pitched calls and a couple good swings by the Twins. So I'm not really down on him, even though he gave up the 3 runs. I mean, it happens. Overall, he pitched a great game. He controlled a lot of what he could control. Working back to what I was talking about before for a second, somebody just asked me about it in here. You apologize to your teammates, not opponents, for near misses. Yeah, and this is a lesson he'll learn. He's a dog. Like he'll never make this mistake again. But you don't want to give the batter any cue that he can eliminate part of the plate, you know, or that you are afraid to hit him. Like, you need to keep that fear factor in there a little bit, and that's what Ron was talking about yesterday with McLean. I know they were teammates in WBC, but kind of giving them like the my bad. If you hit him, you can give them the my bad. I didn't mean to do that because the at-bat's over. But during competition, during the moment, you're about to throw another pitch to him, don't give him any cues. Like, because trust me, guys are looking and guys are calculating that stuff. Like, as a pitcher, I would look at the batter and they'd give me a lot of information. Like, sometimes I'd see them saying like, stay in, and then I just pitch away. Or I'd see them saying like, go out there and get it, and then I just pitch in. So sometimes guys are giving you information that they don't even know you're giving, that they're giving, and you just have to pay attention. I think Buxton did a good job recognizing that, but it's also, I just hate his cutter right on right in that spot. So that's kind of it. All right, what else we got in here? Sub 3 ERA, but feels like he's underperforming his talent. He could easily have a 1, but I don't think it's anything he's doing. I just think it hasn't gone his way yet. You know what I mean? And yet he's still great. Speaking of Kirsch and Lincecum, did Verlander also become more dominant when he pivoted from his 12-6 high school curveball to tighter gyro slider as his primary breaking ball? Yeah, kinda. Verlander's just a weird case because Verlander, if you watch old Verlander tape, he's got kind of a low slot. He slings it. The changeup's much bigger part of it. Also, his velocity was so dominant at the time. His curveball was still there. It was a big slurve, but it was later in his career, the second half of his dominant Hall of Fame career, where it was the slider off the fastball when he got to the up high release height with the Astros. It was the slider and the fastball kind of looking the same and then deviating late that took him to new heights in Houston. So 12-6 curveballs can absolutely work, but you have to have the right arsenal to pair with it. And I mentioned even yesterday with Cease, there is such a thing as being too nasty at times, where guys will just say, you know what, I'm not swinging, and then now all of a sudden it's on you to fit your ridiculous moving pitches in the strike zone. I've talked about 2017. I had the lowest swing rate against me in the league because my pitches were gross and moving all over the place, but I couldn't necessarily throw them over the plate consistently. Guys stood there, they walked a lot. I got exposed. Isn't Alvarez calling the pitches and locations, though? We don't know that for sure. We've heard that the Mets are doing some stuff from the dugout, and also it's up to the pitcher to always say yes. I never blame the catcher for a suggestion because that's all it is. It's a suggestion. I throw what I want to throw. I'm in charge. I got the ball in my hand. It's my ERA. It's my career. So if you don't shake, that's your fault. You know, it's never on the catcher, in my opinion. And if you don't like working with a catcher, you can always switch it out. Yes, they were USA teammates, but they're not teammates now, if you know what I mean. Mets need to find a way to have more than one run producing hit in a game. And, you know, they got Juan Soto coming back today. That's the positive. Also, it's April. It's a lot of baseball season left. I'm more optimistic than others. I know this is a pure pain moment. I'm not saying this team's a great team because clearly something's up, and I don't think the roster fits right. A lot of good talent, but not the right fit, I don't think. And then it's just too much new stuff being thrown at this team all at once. You know, whole new coaching staff minus Mendy. You know, tons of guys playing new positions. A whole core of locker room players out the door. So they're trying to find their stride, but they have enough talent where I do think at some point they'll gel a lot better than at least what they're doing now. All right, what else we got? I would simply signal no ill will and then keep ramming the sinkers in there. See, that's a dog right there. That's gangster. That's like some Roger Clemens shit. So I love that. If you were McLean's vet and he asked you how to get more chase on his sweeper, what do you tell him? I would tell him the only way he's going to get chase on his sweeper is he has to land something middle in the same lane that the sweeper starts in. So middle in to the righty, like a 4-seam middle in. That way, when the sweeper comes out in that lane, they're willing to swing at it. The second thing I would tell him is throw it as hard as you can when it's chase count and don't worry about maximum movement. You're going to get more chase if you throw like a 14-inch horizontal than a 20. You just are. I mean, in Colorado, I got more chase on my sweeper when it was shorter. So again, like we all get enamored with the numbers and the movement, but there's something to be said for more of a shorter, later movement to induce that swing. That's what I'd be telling him, but I also be telling him, your sweeper's not your best strikeout pitch. Your sweeper's a great strike pitch, great contact pitch, but it's not really your strikeout pitch. So up the usage more early in the count, throw other stuff more late in the count. But listen, he doesn't need my advice. He's arguably a top 5 pitcher in baseball right now. So it's kind of how it goes. Lineup needs to do a hell of a lot more. 3 runs off of a home run is insane. Yes. Can't be a nice guy on the mound. Hey, Ayo, what is this website you're using to look at every pitch? So the stats I see, like right now, I'm on Baseball Savant, but this app right here, Dugout, this is an app that's private. I get that from MLB. So this is what allows me to watch everything super fast, and it is a private app. I also just want to give a quick shout out while we're here to Austin Warren, who was getting MVP chance last night as he came in after the Devin Williams poor performance and just obliterates the side. That's 1 strikeout. Here's strikeout 2. Big shout out to him. I love the intensity that he came in this game with. I love that he wanted the effing ball and that he showed up big time in this moment. And if the Mets were to come back in the 9th, Austin Warren would have been the hero of the game. So I hope that lets him stick around and they don't just churn him through the roster. But just shout out to Austin Warren. That was a great spot. A lot of pitchers don't want to pitch in that spot, but he did. So I was very impressed with that. Do I think the Red Sox should be panicking? Is it time to switch over to Red Sox talk? Probably. All right, June, what do I think about the Sox? Sox are in a little bit of trouble, and I'll tell you why, June. I'll tell you why. And it's not complicated. We looked at it yesterday. It's really not. Where's my stat leaderboard? There's one stat that really concerns me with the Boston Red Sox, and it's this. They've hit 13 home runs this season. 13! That's crazy. The team they're facing, the Yankees, Judge has 9, Rice has 8. Those guys by themselves. So that's my concern. Do I think they have enough pitching? Probably, I know Toley's coming up. Early's looked solid in my opinion. Crochet will definitely bounce back. Sonny Gray, I know he's hurt. Ranger Suarez, there's tons of names. The bullpen, Weistert's starting to pitch better. Chapman, they have Whitlock. They have some guys. I think they have some pitching. That's for real. But they have no power. 13 home runs is really, really bad. Really, really bad. You sort by slugging percentage, they're the 4th worst because they've hit some doubles. That's probably Fenway related. Not a good sign for the Mets that the Mets are below them. It's so crazy because you have, in this group here, you have 3 teams in the bottom 4. Well, bottom 5. You have 4 of the 5 teams are awful at the moment. Mets, Royals, Red Sox, White Sox, but the Reds are in first place with the lowest slugging. So anyway, pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. So that's my concern with the Red Sox. Other than that, I'm not that concerned. It's just the offense, man. They need to have, they forgot what ballpark they play in a little bit. They should be hitting bombs, taking names. That's my Red Sox stuff. All right. So, I'm not even going to watch the Yankees much. We'll quickly check in on Giancarlo because he had a big day yesterday. As it's typical Giancarlo. He had a stretch there where he looked really, really bad at the plate. And then he comes back and just almost in the blink of an eye, he has a game where he basically single-handedly is the Yankees offense, 2 for 4 with a home run and 3 RBIs. So let's check the video on that. Yanks Sox from yesterday and Big G. And that's the thing about this Yankee lineup right now. Like, just look at the left side of the screen. Judge and Rice are incredible. Bellinger is solid. And then if Stanton's right, that gives them 4 ridiculously good players. Now, the rest are not playing very well, although Jazz got 2 hits yesterday. But when you have 4 guys that are locked in the middle of the order, it's tough. So Stanton's a huge factor for this team. All right, here's the first homer. Early starts him fastball away, and then he's going to come slider. I've mentioned how G likes to hunt one pitch or the other. Looks like he's hunting that slider. And the monster will not hold that. Hits it high, hits it far. 111.5 at 41 for a solo shot. And gives the Yankees an early lead. Here's Big G on the 90s camera or whatever we got going on here at Fenway Park with some very interesting lighting. Can we get a cinematographer in here? This is a good comment by Uncle Ted. I just throw Stanton a bag of chips. Very funny. All right, here's the double versus Early. He did punch him out the second at bat. You know what? I'm going to backtrack. I want to watch the strikeout just to see if we can learn anything. Let's see how he gets him out. Change up here. Taken for a strike. Four-seam coming. Now, mind you, he had a slider coming in on him. So if you're pitching, you're probably not trying to throw strike sliders to G. And if you're hitting, do you think to yourself, oh, he's probably not coming with sliders, so I'm going to pick a different pitch to hunt? If I were pitching, I would say, if I were hitting, I would say, yes, that would be a good idea. I'm going to hunt fastballs now. That makes sense. He goes after this 0-1 fastball up and fouls it back. All right, another fastball coming.
0-2.
Up in for a ball, and then he's going to punch him out with a fastball. So, yeah, they make the adjustment. They go all fastballs in on him and strike him out. All right, let's see what happens this next at-bat because he gets a huge double here. This is the swing that won the game, in my opinion. Sinker down, called strike. Changeup coming off of that. We know Early throws the kick change similar to McLean. It's nasty. Gets the swing over. He's ahead 0-2. Back in the day, there was a stretch where Big G would be cooked if he was down 0-2, but he's gotten a lot better with his takes and his battle. Changeup coming here. Take again, so back to 2-2. Fastball coming here, and he's going to get to 3-2. And here comes the changeup. And he almost goes deep again. This one's going to hit the base of the wall. It's going to clear the bases. Really good base running by the runner on first. Great read by Judge. Also a pretty smooth slide by Judge, not for nothing. It's not quite Trey Turner, but a pretty good slide. So let's track Judge here and how he reads this. He knows he wants to score on that, so it's a very good job. And a good slide, pretty suave, and Big G gets the job done. Now, what did he just hit? He hit a changeup. So both pitches he hit were off speed. So I think they should have stuck with the fastball, probably. Had a hard time hitting the fastball off of Early. I would expect the rest of this series, the Red Sox are going to throw G a lot of fastballs. But anyway, that's Big G. He's back in. He drove in all the runs. Let's take a quick look at his page here in the early going. He's kind of just spinning his tires, I would say, here in the early going. Hasn't really found his stride yet. But that's the thing about a guy like this, you know. He doesn't have to be locked in to do damage. He just has to touch it. You see the bat speed still at the very tippy top of the league. Still hits the ball as hard as anybody. It's just a matter of getting a good pitch to hit and putting a good swing on it. You know, that 43% chase rate is super key for him. That's actually pretty good for a guy with his profile. And at some point, he'll get hot. But the Yankees are in a great spot. Between their rotation and the fact that they have Ben Rice and Judge playing well out the gate, and now, you know, Stanton contributing a little bit, I don't feel like they're really clicking on offense yet, and yet they're in a great spot, mainly due to their rotation. So that's a little quick Yankee talk. Damn, hope he gets in as a Marlin when he makes the Hall of Fame, but probably going to be a Yankee. Well, he did win MVP with the Marlins. But yeah, I mean, it's so many years with the Yankees, so pretty good chance he'll be a Yankee, I would imagine. But we'll see. Judge is so large, and his strides are so large, it looks like he's moving in slow motion. It does sometimes, yeah. It does, man. Thoughts on Yankee players asking to wear an alternate jersey for first time ever? I don't know. I mean, is it the spring training jersey? So, like, in a way, it's kind of already been out there. I don't know. I liked some of the traditional aspects of the Yankees just because I grew up a Yankee fan. I was prepared for them and I kind of enjoyed them. Like the shaving and then just the two jerseys, the straight gray and the straight pinstripe. For me, were good, but it's a different generation. I mean, I don't know. People tend to be mad about a lot of stuff like this. I'm not mad about it either way, but I probably wouldn't have been a guy that would have been. I would have never thought about it, to be honest. All right, what else we got here? The Dodgers have a backup catcher with 7 home runs in 8 games and 13 RBIs. Mets need to make a big deal now. Forget about the trade deadline. Mets don't have anybody to trade right now. I mean, unless they're going to empty out pieces that are going to be good. It would be crazy to make any brash decisions if you're the Mets right now, just in my opinion. Pete Alonso, the guy every Sox fan wanted, has 2 home runs and is batting .211, so there's that. I guarantee you Pete will hit 30 this year. His swing looks messed up, though, right now. I will say that. His stance is a little weird. Not sure what's going on with that. Let's see here. They just need more power, right? They play at Fenway. They need more power. That's so obvious to me. Otto, I'd really appreciate a black brim baseball and coffee cap. So you want to go black lettering, natural top. We could work on that. I'll think about that. Carl says that there aren't any calls for Cora's job. Trust me, there are. There are. The Sox fans are not happy. They want a pound of flesh as well. Trust me. Is this question entertaining the ideas that the Mets? I mean, that's not going to happen. When the Yankees faced the Red Sox, did you notice any player attitudes change? It seems like Big G always turns on against the Sox. No, but anytime you play in Fenway or in Yankee Stadium versus the rival, you just have more juice, man. You just have more juice, more energy. And I think sometimes guys need that a little bit just to sharpen the focus just a touch. Some people benefit from that type of thing. I'm still thinking about this Schlittler start that's coming up. I'm fired up for that one coming on. All right, what else we got here? I heard a story when Jeter worked for Miami, they had to move the 03 trophy away from his office because he walks in, the 97 and 03 trophy was there. I could see that. I mean, that's very much a Jeter thing to do. Mr. Win or Bust, Hall of Famer bust attitude all the time. Trade Cora for Mendy. That would be a funny swap. Just, we're sick of you, we'll swap them. Imagine that shit. That would be wild. Never seen that before. That would be unprecedented. By the way, did yesterday's game finally make Lewis Varland the closer instead of Hoffman? All right, let's go investigate Hoffman's outing from yesterday because I didn't see it. I know he's still getting BABIP to death. Angels, Blue Jays. We talked about this yesterday. I said yesterday I felt like it functions better with Hoffman as the closer and Varland as the fireman. But to be honest with you, I'm worried about Varland and getting abused now. I just think you can't be the fireman and the guy that comes in to fireman in the ninth. The closer's not supposed to have anyone behind him, but it's telling that Schneider's willing to go to Varland in replacing Hoffman because he knows that Varland's better than him right now. And so at that point, you're almost like, just make him your closer. And if I were Varland, I would want to be the closer because obviously you get paid more money through ARB, and also he'd pitch a little bit less because closers don't pitch as much as setup men, typically. But again, Hoffman's really hasn't done anything wrong, per se. I mean, he's thrown a lot of good pitches. This is a pretty good pitch to Trout. Not really on the scouting report, but does get him in, does execute that pitch. It's a weak contact hit. Let's see Joe Adele here. Swing and miss there, and then he hits him. I'm sensing that this sinker approach is a little new from Hoffman. And maybe he doesn't have command of that yet. So hits a guy there. That's obviously no bueno. Here's Soler. He's 100th percentile in chase. If you're 100th percentile in chase, you should probably have like a 1 ERA, and he's got like an 8. So it's all very weird. There's some things in baseball sometimes that just make no freaking sense, man. And that's one of them. I'm not convinced that Varland wouldn't be the 3rd best starter on the team if given opportunity. Yeah, I think that ship sailed for Varland now. I mean, clearly he seems like a reliever now. Seems like that really suits him. He can pitch all the time. The stuff plays up. He's very aggressive mentality. So here's a second hit by pitch with 2 strikes. Can't command arm side at all. I also don't understand what you're doing here. What are you guys doing, Blue Jays? Why are you setting up super in? Look how in he is. This chest protector's off the plate with 2-2 count to Jorge Soler. If you're going to throw a 4-seam fastball here, you just throw it up here and you call it a day. Just blow his doors off, or you go slider away. Did you see him? Did you not see him swing at this pitch on 0-0? Did you not see that? It's not even close ever. So I hate this pitch call, and I hate the targeting by the catcher. And yeah, Jeff can't execute his arm side right now. That's not a good sign. All right, next batter. Yoan Moncada. Splitter here. They get it. Ball and dirt, slider. No. And then in-play runs on the split. That's a bad pitch. He hung that one. So can't give him any credit for that. That's a bad pitch. And at that point, you know, what do we have? We have 2 or 3 hit batters in this inning. Jam hit, bunch of stuff. What did he get? Well, let me see what it was again. Single, hit by pitch, single. So didn't follow the scouting report to Trout. Don't really like his sinker approach that much because that's not him. Has a hard time controlling the arm side. And then hits 2 guys, the second of which I just think is just bad baseball by the Blue Jays. And then he hangs the split. Varland comes in and gets a 1-pitch double play to end the game, making him the hero once again, as it's a beautiful changeup and then just a great turn by the Jays. Great throw by Ernie. Dumbass Shanuel here. Not that I don't mean it like he's a dumbass, but this was a dumbass play. Sliding head first. I don't understand why anybody does this. And they end up getting the out, and the game's over. Let me check in on Hoffman's sinker percentages. Because this is like, maybe they're trying to make him better, but it's also not really something he's comfortable with, and he's trying to do it in the 9th inning on the fly. So 7% sinker this year. The shape of that is 11.5 and 17, whereas his 4-seam is 15 and 14. It's not that different. There's some blend here. Don't love that. Do we have any sinkers prior to this? 2025? Yeah, he threw 9% sinkers last year. Okay, so at least it existed. 2024, 11% sinkers. 2023. All right, so it's been about the same usage. What's the effectiveness of said pitch? This year, no good. 366 WOBA, 460X WOBA last year. They hit 348 on it last year, 243, but 380 WOBA, 314X WOBA. More seasons. Sinker here, 332X WOBA. They did hit 194 on it this year, so that was a little more effective. I assume he's throwing these all versus righties. Yeah, he is. 2023, not good. I just don't think it's a good pitch for him. Or that they're using it properly, or that he commands it properly is my feeling on that. So I don't know. You look at the Blue Jays bullpen. There was some talk in our Discord yesterday about why not Rogers. You know, I don't have a great answer for that. I guess ultimately I'm a little biased towards swing and miss in the 9th. Mainly because when I was closing at times, and if I didn't have my swing and miss dialed in, I would kind of feel like I was a sitting duck for a guy on 3rd, you know, with less than 2 outs. How am I going to punch my way out of it? That would be my concern with Rogers. But Rogers, at the end of the day, he doesn't give up a lot of runs. You give him a clean inning, most of the time he's going to get the job done. That's what you want out of a closer. But I don't know. I feel like, again, it's selling him short. He can pitch multi-inning. He can come in and get 4 or 5 outs at a clip. You can match him up against certain parts of the lineup if he's not locked into closer. So I like the idea of Jeff closing, but there's no denying he's not at his best right now, while Varland is. It would be nice to get Yimi Garcia back in the mix, but they don't have that right now. And these are tough calls for Schneider to make, because even after last night, you know, Hoffman's got a 2.57 expected ERA. So you're staring at that. I know a lot of it's driven by the whiff, And you think things have got to turn around, but I don't know, not commanding much to the arm side. And if I'm them, I have to fix that a little bit. You got to get him into some better counts. I know his first pitch strike rate's been bad. I think we looked at that yesterday. Where is that? Yeah, 54.9 on the first pitch strikes. That's a far cry from where he was before, which doesn't give him count leverage. So, man, it's a tough call. You know, if you're a manager, there's a lot that goes into this. A lot of mentality stuff that goes into this, just knowing these guys. And then that's how you kind of make some decisions. But from a structure standpoint, I know they like to be able to float Varland around and Rogers around. So it's certainly an interesting debate. I can see why Jays fans want to pull the trigger on it. Let's look at Varland's what he's looked at so far. 12 innings, 12 games, no runs, 13 innings, 19 punchies, 0.85. I mean, everything's coming up groovy right there. He doesn't have the chase rate, but who cares? Still fine. Lefties, he's four-seam knuckle curve changeup. Righties, he's four-seam knuckle curve slider sinker. I don't know. Tough call. Tough call. I will forever shout for Rogers for closer from the rooftop. He just doesn't give up runs. Yeah, let me check Rogers for a second, too. What type of start is Raj off to? He's off to a .73 in 12 games, 12.1 innings, 5 strikeouts. It's the strikeout totals that scare me, but look, there's no denying this guy doesn't give up runs. You know what I'm saying? 1.04 whip 2 years ago. He's been under 1 since then. 2.70 career ERA in 432 games. That's dominant. Yeah, it's the strikeout stuff I guess I'm a little biased towards or against in his scenario, but you could make that move if you want. It's definitely more effective than what Hoffman's doing right now. So it's tough. And he does have good defense behind him. I think that's fair to say. All right, where to next? What else we got here? Closer needs to be a dog, and Hoffman just seems like a nice dude, and Varland has that dog mentality. Hoffman's a dog too. I wouldn't say that he's not. It's just hard to be yelling and screaming and showing it if you're struggling. You know what I'm saying? What else we got here? Also, last night, an update in the Varland Bowl. Gus still leads Louis in saves. Yep, the Garland Bowl. I wish Hoffman had a FU fastball like Varland. It's not like he has a bad fastball, but it's that first pitch strike, which is huge. No doubt. That's the key stat. All right, let's check in on Murakami hitting another bombista. 4th game in a row. This one was on a changeup. That's the pitch on my video he could not touch was the changeup. So Munetaka does it yesterday once again. Who are they playing? The D-backs. The Snakes and the White Sox. Munetaka Murakami, 3 for 5 with a walk. Man, this guy's really coming into his own. Let's watch all his at-bats where something positive happened. First at-bat versus Merrill Kelly. And, you know, this on paper, I would have said maybe not a good matchup. Merrill Kelly's got a really good changeup. That's what he's been scuffling with. But he ends up making him pay later in the game. So 2-0 count here. Right to the changeup again. That's a strike. So he's watched some video. Here comes a sinker. This is a risky pitch. But he dots it. 2-2. Changeup coming again. That's off the plate away. And then he's going to throw another changeup. And this time Murakami goes with it. Ooh, and a very... Nolan got effed by his glove. Did you see that? The ball got stuck in Nolan's glove. I was going to say, you hit it to Nolan. How are you not out? But look, you can't get the ball out of his glove. That might have been a double play. So that's a very lucky hit. And we're going to need somebody to restring my guy's glove. All right, second at bat. Heavy changeup usage there, so Murakami might be hunting it. Curveball here, that's a ball. Changeup coming here, swing and miss. Or I guess it was called strike. Four-seam coming here, takes it, and then he's going to annihilate the changeup. I think he pulls it down in. Yeah, he does. Definitely looking for it. You got to give him credit there, man. He felt it. This guy's going to spam me changeups. He's aware of what he's not hitting. That ball's smashed. 113 at 30. He's already one of my favorite guys to watch because when he hits it, he freaking hits it. How cool is that? Change up, pull down in, lean back, and watch it fly. So sick. Let's watch the slow-mo. I'd say he's feeling pretty comfortable. Certainly a lot more comfortable than Tatsuya Imai is at this point. Anyway, there's the mistake with the changeup. It's the pull down in. That's the spot that he can hit. In the video that I watched, you know, if you threw any changeup over here, he was cooked. You just can't miss in that down in spot, which is where this pitch happens to go. And it does look like he's sitting back on him a little bit. I think it helps that Merrill doesn't have the velo for him. So, nice swing there. Then there's a walk and then a single. So, on all of his first 4 at-bats, single, homer, walk, single. Here's Taylor Clark. Swings at a slider, no good. Change up, down, strike. Looks like we have some info here, which I'm going to get into in a minute. And slider, base hit. Another play, though, that should have been made. Good hustle, though. So, gets 2 fortunate singles and the nuke. All right, what's this comment? Before this West Coast road trip, he tweaked his stride a little bit. Now he hangs back with a foot in the air rather than having a static timing with the stride. He has homered in every game post-tweak. Yeah, I was going to say that leg kick seems a little different. He's not making as much of a forward move. It looks like he didn't feel comfortable with his foot down approach, like the very small hover he was doing. He went a little bit, you know, higher up, but standing on that, like being a back leg firer, a la Judge. And it looks like he's able to stay back on the off speed a little bit better, to your point, Jacob. So, you know, these guys always making adjustments, and this one seems to have clicked through this stretch. Expect more ebb and flow as the season, as the league figured him out. Then he figured them out and back and forth. He's unreal. I mean, I'm loving it. He is definitely figuring it out. And right now he's in a really good stretch. And it's all about these micro adjustments throughout time that really change things, you know? It's all about making little tweaks as you go. I think that's what the big leagues is really about. The best guys can make slight adjustments, series to series, game to game, at bat to at bat, pitch to pitch, that continue to keep them above water until they're hot, right? So, Roger said he wants to be all-time career leader in holds. Man, I wanted to be the all-time career leader in holds. I was trying to chase down Tony Watson. I think I ended up like 4th maybe. Didn't get there, unfortunately. Didn't play long enough. All right, what else we got here? If only the Mets had a real first baseman in Murakami and not a second baseman like Polanco was hurt. Mune took Merrill deep in the WBC finals. That's right, in 23. You're right, he faced him. Hands are a little higher? Is that the case? We gotta look. Yeah, maybe a little bit higher. But here's what I'm talking about with that back leg. The stride's not very long. That's a really good coil, and I think he's seeing the ball better and able to stay back a little more. It's also a slight pigeon toe of the knee in. Like you see the knee angle. The knee's pointing, I don't know, this way. So that's pretty interesting. And kaboom. So that's what he wants to do. Also, I mean, just the eye at the plate is super underrated as well. All right, let me move on. Oh, Sam Antonacci got himself a Little League home run in this game. That's great. Let's watch that. Sam Antonacci, I really haven't seen him play much since I haven't watched a lot of games full out from the White Sox, but he's in the big leagues now. This guy was one of my favorite players in the WBC for us, for Italy. I thought, man, what a ball player. What an interesting ball player. And here he's going to come up with a triple?
This is hit pretty well. Deep to right center. Headed to the home run porch.
Man, almost a homer.
And it's off the fencing. Montgomery will score. Antonacci with great speed easily into third.
And he's all the way to third on a triple. The ball smacked. How hard he hit that? 99.2 at 31. And then here's the inside the park home run
3 in a second on 3 consecutive
for
home
Sam.
runs.
This guy's a good ball player. I mean, you look at the on-base percentages that he had. Oh, what the fuck? Why are you touching the ball, bro? They should have challenged that. That would have been a double, and then Gurriel doesn't go for it. He stops playing, doesn't play until the whistle. And Sam goes the whole way for his first career home run, which is an inside-the-park home run aided by a ball boy down the line. And Gurriel didn't play the whistle, bro. That's not reviewable? Damn.
Antonacci on the run.
Oh no, gotta pick it up.
Gurriel's not picking the ball up.
I mean, Matt Olson's fully pigeon-toed on the front. 100%. We looked at it yesterday.
Maybe the security folk down there.
That's the second time the ball boy has done that for Arizona this week. That is no bueno. No bueno whatsoever. All right, what do I have on the list? Let's see. That's a great story on your first home run. I mean, yeah, but it would also be cool if you're like, I have hit an absolute nuke, 450 off of somebody. You know, that would be cool as well. All right, Zach, what do we got here? McLean, Yamamoto, Stanton, Elly De La Cruz, Chase Burns, Bryce Terang, James Wood. Yamamoto lost, so I'm tempted to jump off that. Let's check into Elly De La Cruz and the Reds for a little bit. So the Reds are in first place. They have a below average run differential. But they have some guys playing really well. I mentioned Sal Stewart. We've already been over him a number of times. Don't think that doesn't impact Elly De La Cruz. It absolutely does. They have Sal Stewart hitting behind Elly De La Cruz now, and they don't want him to be on base. He's fast as crap. He loves to steal, but also now they can't really necessarily pick around the edges against him as much because you have a really good hitter behind him. So here's the start for Elly. Through 108 plate appearances, he is at 276, 343, 571 for a 914 OPS with 8 home runs and 6 steals. Obviously, this guy is one of the toolsiest players in the league between, you name it, power, speed, defensive arm, you name it, he's got tools, and he's off to a really, really nice start in the year this year. Only 24 years old, by the way. Insane. Let's see what's trending here this year relative to last couple years. All right, first of all, chase percentage is at a career high right now, 77th percentile chase. He's always been around league average or slightly below, which has led to less whiff. And all he has to do is mitigate the whiff somewhat because when he makes contact, a lot of good things are going to happen. He's got great exit velocity, 96th percentile, but he's also got great speed. And it's weird that he's only in the 72nd percentile now because I just don't think he's turned it on a ton yet. So maybe he's learning to play within himself a little bit more. Walks are good. He's squaring the ball up a little bit more. So those are all good things. Let's see if there's any type of change in his setup or swing path first over the last year. Let's see if we can see anything really quick from Elly. Group by season update. Elly De La Cruz. All right, so 25 on the bottom, 24 on the top. I don't want to mess that up, so I've been messing that up sometimes. I want to get Carson Kelly out of here, but I can't. All right, bat speed virtually the same, half a mile different. Swing path tilt the same. This year, his attack angle is a little bit flatter, not quite as uppercut through the ball. He's 0% pull, so definitely working through the middle of the field, which is the same thing as last year. Intercept point, still catching it out front, but not as far out front. He's a little bit deeper in the box and a lot more off the plate. So he's moved about 3 inches more off the plate, and his stance has really opened up big time. Oh, no, that was last year. God damn it. So this year, he's a little bit more up through the ball. He's a little bit closer to the plate. He's about 3 inches closer to the plate, and he's closed up his stance quite a bit. Okay, so that's one thing. Let's see if there's anything with swing length. I hate when I do that. It's so freaking annoying. Why do I have to do that sometimes? I know what I'm reading, and then I just read the wrong thing. I immediately flip it in my head. Ridiculous. All right, 26 on top. Swing length has also improved by 0.2 feet. That's significant. That's statistically significant for me. You know, slightly shorter swing in 26 to 25. You see it here, 7.2 versus 7.0. That might seem small, but I think that's a big part of the reason why his contact percentage is up. And again, it's all about contact percentage with guys with incredible tools, like, you know, an Elly or an O'Neal Cruz or somebody like that. So that's cool to watch. All right, who did they play yesterday? They played the Rays. Rays. Three for 6. All right, and he's doing more damage right-handed, which is important because, of course, now I just didn't even look at his swing metrics for each side of the plate, which makes me look like an idiot. But I didn't think about that until this moment. But he's also struggled a lot hitting right-handed. I think he's only hit like 6 career home runs right-handed. I think he has 5 this year, including this one right here. Just drives it to the oppo gap, and that's the type of pop he has. I mean, that's just the opposite field line drive, but he hits it 111.6. Most people are not hitting a home run with that swing, but that's the tools he has. I love that when he stays to the big part of the field, a lot of good things are going to happen for him. Extra base hits, everything good is going to happen for him in the middle of the field. So nice swing there from the right side, gets the home run off Matsy. See what it looks like from the side. He's just so dynamic. And we've been waiting for a huge breakout. I mean, I know Terry Francona challenged him to eventually be a MVP type of guy. So that's all about consistency. But we'll see. All right, here he is versus Yogo from the left side. Bases chucked. First pitch cutter fouled back. And then another cutter, and he's going to drive in these runs. So they double up, makes a one-pitch adjustment, makes him pay for that, hits that 112. So the homer was about $112, the single's about $112, and then he's going to get another home run here. Granted, this is off a position player, so this is kind of dumb, but he does absolutely smash this ball off of the right-on-right position player for a 108.5. And you know what? It all looks the same on the back of your baseball card. They don't care that you hit it off a position player, so you go ahead and do your thing, Elly. Nice job. But yeah, I mean, he's a big part of the reason why the Reds are in first place. You know, you look at their lineup. Where am I? You look at their lineup construction right now, and there's no doubt in my mind that Elly hitting in front of Sal Stewart is a huge, huge thing for this team. We talked about it a lot in recent days with Soto being out, you know, and what that means for the Mets. If you don't have that guy in the middle of the order and really 2 guys to play off of each other, you're just missing out on really making the other team, you know, uncomfortable. It's the Ben Rice and Judge. It's Soto and Judge. It's Ohtani and Mookie and Freddie, you know. Back in the day, it's Manny and Big Papi. And right now, this duo is really, really strong. Elly De La Cruz, Sal Stewart. Sal Stewart's a good enough hitter to hit what he's given. And he's a great RBI man, and he's going to have one of the fastest guys in the league hitting in front of him. And because everybody knows Sal's a good player, Elly's going to get a lot of pitches to hit. So I think this is a big deal. They have good pitching. And ultimately, these 2 guys are going to drive a lot of their offense. If anybody else comes around on this roster a little bit offensively, watch out. This team could be for real in the Central. All right, back to the chat. Yeah, that's me. If Murakami can make a little more contact in the zone, he can be Kyle Schwarber. That's the question. Gallo or Schwarber? Yep, no doubt. That is the question. Schwarber's that dude. Sal Stewart had one of the greatest junior years of all time in Florida, had like 16 bombs. I mean, he's that good of a hitter, so nothing surprised me. You would think he would kill it. That at-bat was fun because he took a few pitches, and before he came up, you can tell he wanted to hit a tank. I love that. Well, we're never going to find out if Beatty and Fantos are as good as Manny and Papi because they don't get to play every day. They don't have positions that they're just stuck at. I think Beatty should play third base for the Mets. That's how I feel. But that's not the roster construction right now. Reds have more coming too. Who's coming? Who should I be excited about with the Reds offensively? I wonder. Elly should be leading off. No. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, why don't they just move everybody up a little bit? Why don't they go Elly 1, Sal 2, and then work off of that? Then you'd get them more ABs. I mean, they're not really getting a ton out of Dane Myers or Matt McLean. I mean, Dane's been okay, but yeah, I don't mind that. That would make sense to me. Beatty was great on his defense last year at third. He's been majorly improved at third. But now he's not playing third. Now he's playing right field for some reason. So, kind of a weird place to be. All right, in this game, Chase Burns also pitched. He's another guy that we like to track, so I'll speed through his game a little bit. 5 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, 1 home run, 97 pitches. Let's see the player breakdown on Chase Burns. Went back to being a 2-pitch guy. Didn't use his changeup much yesterday. 52 heaters, 41 sliders, only 4 changeups. Did get 48% whiff on the slider. I think his slider is one of the best in the game already. 33% whiff overall. 70% first pitch strike. Love that. I mean, look, the numbers look pretty solid here. So let's quickly run through his outing yesterday. Chase Burns, the man who does not talk to Tony Vitello. I wonder what happened there. I know he left, but seems like there's some beefage there. All right, Chandler Simpson's going to chop out there. Here comes a strikeout on a slider of Junior Caminero. Gross. I love his slider so much. It's late. It's late. It's depthy. Comes out of a great slot, high slot. See you later. 4-seam here. Nowhere close.
It's my guess.
And then a fly out here. Plus, also the way that his fastball kind of has a little bit of that perceived cut, I think that holds the line a little better with his slider too, which hides the slider. So I'm a huge fan of Burns. I just want him to keep developing more pitches and become a little bit more of a pitcher than a thrower, because I want him to stay in the rotation. I think he's got real #1 upside here with what he's coming out with physically, and I love the main 2 pitches, but he's got to continue to add. Otherwise, he'll just end up as a dominant closer. Like, you make him a reliever right now, he could be dominant. All right, 4-seam down ball. So 2 on, 1 out here. Strikeout here of Hunter Fiducia. That is just gross. This is such a good right on left slider below the zone.
Trying to get on the board here. And Fiducia is out on strike.
Yeah, Beatty's struggling right now, but again, this guy's been jerked around so much by the Mets.
Yes.
You know, given the keys, not given the keys. Go to AAA. Oh, you suck at third base. Oh, you're great at third base. Oh, now you're an outfielder. Oh, you're only going to play sometimes. Oh, you're never going to get to face lefties. Like, he's just been jerked around a lot for a top prospect, and that's sometimes the problem with a big market team. But I feel a little bad for him. I just think he's ready for a full runway at third, but he's never going to get that right now. All right, Chandler Simpson here again. Ground ball. Every single ball in play has been a fastball or a slider. I guess that makes sense when he only threw about 6 changeups. Ooh, Junior Caminero almost kills him. 113 right back at you. Junior doesn't give one crap about your fastball. Watch how hard he hits this. Yeah, it's all related though. I mean, I know his hitting's been dog shit, but again, like, you gotta give a guy a comfortable position, you know. And right now he's trying to learn right field. His swinging has been awful this year. He's been down 0-2 almost every time. It's been weird. I agree. He's been bad, but it's just not great. Please like and subscribe while you're here. This is a dirty slider to Yandy.
And maybe not confident enough to challenge because they lost one.
Nice pitch. Did Yandy go here? Yandy was pretty confident. Very similar to what Pete did yesterday, but he gets called for it. Chase Burns, everybody. Little helicopter action. All right, next guy. Mr. Johnny DeLuca, former Dodger. Fly ball to right. Nice play. Yeah, I think he went to. Slider down, popped up. Cubs are coming for the Reds. I agree. I think the Cubs are the class of that division. But And they have won 7 in a row. But I'm just saying the Reds are a little bit of a factor because they have some really good starting pitching, especially when Hunter Green comes back. Slider down there. Let's watch the 3-pitch punchy of the only other big leaguer from my high school, Richie Palacios. Let's see how he gets punched out here. Slider pulled foul. Changeup. Here's the rare changeup. Let's see the execution on it. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. And then that's going to set up the slider in the dirt for the chase. And that's what he gets. Beautiful. That ball was trending right towards that changeup, huh? And then it's like, nope. And he gets Richie to swing and miss. I love his slider. All right, still hasn't given up a run. I believe he gives up a few in this inning. Changeup pulled for an out. Strikeout here. See ya. Nobody can touch that slider. Actually, he goes 1 through 3 in the 5th, so we must give him up coming out for the 6th. Man, Chandler Simpson, he's got to hit 3 choppers to second in this game. Very nice. 6th inning, Junior Caminero is the one who gets him. 2 hard hits up the middle for Junior, both over $111. No shame in that. And then in play runs, Aranda's going to clip him. So there's that slider in a neutral count, and he doesn't get it below the zone, and Aranda's able to flip that into the seats. And those are the 2 runs he gives up. Good swing by Aranda right there. I don't know, maybe you're just not as good as me, Chase. You can't strike out Aranda. Just kidding. And then he's going to get it out here on Yandy. Nice play by McLean there. Pick it like a booger. And then his last batter here is a called strike 3 of DeLuca. Fastball down, freeze. Touching, very nice. So I thought it was a good outing. He did get clipped for the home run there. But overall, man, his slider is something else. His slider is something else. It really is. Very high on Chase Burns. Very excited for him. Very excited for him. Very excited for the Reds. I mean, again, you look at the Reds roster. I know that they have a negative differential. I don't think they're the best team in this division. But this team is a tough team to play against because in any given series, you're going to end up with, Abbott, Burns. Eventually, you're going to get Lodolo and Green back in the mix. Singer and Louder will give you good outings a lot of the times. Williamson's been serviceable. I don't love their bullpen, but they got plenty of possibilities out there. And then they have, finally, the 2 aircraft carriers in the middle, De La Cruz and Sal Stewart. So good for the Reds. They have something to play for. We'll see if they can hang in there, despite not being the best team. Am I hating to say that the way the Reds are winning is not sustainable? No, it's probably not. I don't have them pegged for division, but I do think they have enough pitching to be a tough team to face. And I don't think they've really hit their stride offensively yet. They have 2 guys swinging it. So we'll see. Change looks nasty for how little he throws it. He should throw it more. He should definitely throw it more. Weird that the Reds have an underperforming hitter in the tool hole. Yeah, just move those guys up, in my opinion. After the pregame sage burning from Gelbs and the Lindor home run, I truly thought the Mets were going to get out of it. Yeah, me too. I mean, it felt like they were, but they scored all their runs on one swing, so it's still more of the same of what we've seen from the last couple weeks. I mean, yeah, you can crap on the pitching. I get it. But it's really the hitting, man. They're just not scoring any runs. Adam, you talked about player development and handling of players. Are the systems that ran on the major league team get taught and instilled all the way down to short season? To some extent, yeah. To some extent, yeah. Is the perceived cut fastball the new high ride fastball, a new tweak to turn a bad pitch into a good one? Yeah, I'd say rather than throwing a dead zone, if you can't create lift, go down in spin efficiency, create a little more perceived cut. Now at least you have a little bit of abnormal movement in. Eventually people will get used to this one too. But yes, that's a good comment, Philip, and I think you're right. I think you're totally right. Chase Burns is carrying my pitching staff in the Baseball and Coffee League. Crochet only bad because I drafted him. I think Crochet will bounce back. I really do. Third wildcard spot in the NL will come down to Pirates versus Reds, I think. Please watch Yoshinobu Yamamoto inning 7. I've been planning on watching him in general since I don't know anything about what happened in that game. I know he lost. But other than that, I know diddly about that game last night. Let's see the box score and everything. I was planning on doing a whole Yoshi watch because he's one of the other pitchers that I watch every time. 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, 101 pitches, 2.48. Looks like all the runs happened right away in the first. So instead of watching the whole outing, what I'll give you is I'll see what happens here in the first, and then I'll watch that 7th inning of Yoshi. Does that sound like a plan? I think that's a plan. So let's see what happened in the first inning of this game. Rivalry game. Dodgers-Giants. This is a great rivalry over the years. I love it. NorCal versus SoCal. I love it. All right, first inning. Let's see how it all went down. First batter of the game is Mr. Willie Adames. He is going to hit a 3-1 sinker to short. Kim on the throw. Wow, straight into the Dodger dugout. So what do you guys think? You think this is a hit or an error? To me, this is an error. To me, he's out with a good throw. Yeah, he's out with a good throw. So to me, this is just a straight 2-base error, but they are really easy. They are really quick to give hits out these days. Anyway, man on second, no outs. Next batter, Mr. Arise. Cutter coming here. Ground ball through the left side. That's just Luis Arise right there. That was a totally legit hit. And now they have first and third, no outs. Here comes a 3-2 pitch to Matt Chapman. A very, very uncharacteristic, non-competitive 3-2 pitch from Yoshi. And now we are 0-0. Now, I will say this. If you've never been to San Francisco for a night game, it's cold. It is a tough environment sometimes to get used to out there. The mound's not the best. I can see why guys sometimes scuffle early in games. But it looks like Yoshi locked it in the rest of the way. So anyway, bases loaded, no outs in the first. Here's Rafi. Here comes a split. Ooh, that could have maybe been caught too, not for nothing. But a great job to dive and smash at 98.1. That's going to drive in a run. And the Giants needed an early lead in this game versus the Dodgers. But do we think this ball should have been caught? Nah, it's hit pretty hard. It burns them. It's crazy, though. This is a double play possibility, right? Where's everybody? If he catches that, he can go to first. Probably nowhere else. Anyway, base hit there. And now it's Casey Schmidt. It was a very soggy game to start the game. Had been raining hard all day. I've played a lot of these games in San Francisco. Oh my God, they hit each other hard. But Call does make the catch. That ends up being a sacular fly. Oh, you never want to see this. To me, this is the scariest moments in Major League Baseball, is two fielders colliding. I mean, look at them right in the face. I was at a game in AAA one time where I saw two guys ring their bells so hard that they both went to the hospital, and the whole game had to just end. To me, these are the scariest plays in MLB, but wham, they end up being okay, I guess. I mean, knee on knee, face on face. Not what you want to see, but that drives in the second run. And then this is what drives in the third run. Jun-Hoo Lee, first pitch curveball. Backs it out to right. Tucker can't make that play, tackles it. So Yoshi got off to a rough start in this game, no doubt. 3-0 in the first. I do think if he gets that first out, it might have been a different inning. But those are all the 3 runs. After that, he goes fly out to end the first. All right, let's skip ahead to the 7th, which is a side punch, all called looking. This was a request made, so that's what we're going to watch. That Naylor injury still haunts me. In high school, we had a guy break his femur in a collision like that. Yeah, that shit's so bad. They were yelling. Maybe they were both yelling and they couldn't hear each other that good. It's possible. Dodgers never drop it when they collide, huh? All right, let's watch the dominant outing, every pitch. The dominant inning, every pitch from Yoshi here in the 7th. All right, Drew Gilbert, first batter. Four-seam down ball. Here comes a curveball. Chopped foul. Here comes a fastball, dotted at the knees. That's 1-2. As a Jays fan, I love nothing more than watching Yoshi give up runs. I get that. Still a little bitter about when he shoved it down the entire nation of Canada's throat in the postseason last year. And then a four-seam freeze. This is just great pitching. All right, I'm going to do this demonstration again. I've done this many times. All right, this is the splitter sets up the fastball freeze. Here it is. Splitter. Easy take, no trigger, right? No trigger whatsoever, but look at the height where the pitch starts. Pitch starts right around bottom of the zone height, right? And there's no trigger. So Gilbert's like, yeah, I don't have to swing at that. I know that's a splitter. So what does Yoshi do? He says, oh, you're not swinging at the bottom of the zone out of my hand? Here's a fastball. Oh, wait, no, I messed that up. Damn it. I hate when I mess it up. Here's the fastball. Yeep. So if you're not going to swing at that, you're not going to swing at this. That's just awesome reading of the at-bat. And this is part of why I hate the whole, calling pitches from the dugout. You can't read this stuff from the bench. You can't read it. But I'm telling you, this is real life. This is how the best pitchers pitch. See you later. All right, 1 out. Next up. Yoshi is nightmare fuel for Jays fans. I get it. I totally get it. And I'm sorry. I didn't mean to rub it in. I would like it if the Jays would beat his butt one time, just so they could feel that would be very cathartic for them and the fans. I would agree with that. All right, 0-2 count on a split there. Let's see how he finishes off Bailey, because these are all freezes, I believe. Split down, another no trigger. This time backdoor cutter freeze attempt, just misses it. I think fastball down's the pitch. Let's see. Four seam. Yep, fastball down's the pitch. See you later. So double fastball down freezes. I love it. And one more. Sinker coming here to Adames. Foul ball. Slider here. That's a take. And then he's going to get another fastball freeze. Probably, oh no, sinker. Backdoor sinker. So all three freezes on fastballs down. Adames thinks that's a ball. But that's just right there. He actually didn't even hit his spot here. But that's just great pitching. And you know what? He's got a great mentality. He's able to complete 7 innings despite giving up 3 runs in the first. That's what aces do. That is what aces do. And that's why Yamamoto is one of the best pitchers in the freaking world. But congratulations 100% to the Giants for winning game 1 of that series. And they can go for the series win today. He's still doing the 3 fastball thing, and I love it. Honestly, given the splitter velo, I might even consider Yama a 4 fastball pitcher. 4 seam cutter, sinker, split. Okay. I can see that. He's also got the curveball, the slider. He's so good, man. He's so good. When Yoshi retires, they'll make a documentary purely based on his notebooks. I mean, there's probably already... He's such a legend. 3-time MVP in Japan, Sawamura Award winner 3 times, World Series champion twice, World Series MVP. He's got another 10 years. Who knows what his trophy case is going to look like at the end? The only person that's going to beat him is probably Shohei. It's wild. Clearly, Yoshi's worst start, it featured 6 straight scoreless innings. I mean, the guy's a beast. The guy's absolutely amazing. Tool belt of pitches. You guys are totally right. All right, we got some Red Sox here. I wonder if Carlos Delgado is someone who could be in the mix for a role. Close with Cora, coached hitting in WBC, and Cora cites liking his hitting philosophy a lot. Yeah, maybe. Although they're very driveline driven over there. They have completely dove in, which is weird. Because driveline's all about pull side homers and power. Power and walks. Like, they're a true modern style thinking tank there. And yet they have no power. So I'm confused by the Red Sox big time. Majorly confused. Part of me just thinks they swung and missed on a lot of guys they wanted and they had to pivot. And now they've become this team. But ultimately, they need more power in their lineup. Maybe that would jive. But Delgado, I mean, yeah, the Puerto Rican connection with Cora could be a thing. Is there somewhere I can look at the amount of runs Yoshi has given up in the first inning alone? Yeah, let me check that out. Let me see. I can usually go ERA by inning. Yoshinobu Yamamoto game logs. No, not game logs. Splits from 2026. 2026. By inning. Yep, he's got a 7.20 ERA in the first. He's allowed 4 runs in the first. And he's allowed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total in the other 7 innings that he's pitched in. He's got a 0 in the second. He's got a 0 in the fifth, a 0 in the seventh, a 0 in the eighth. And, you know, he's actually the antithesis. See, this is the old school way of thinking. Innings 1 through 3 on the season, he's got a 3.6 ERA. The whole thinking was aces, you can get them early, but once they get settled in, good luck. That's kind of what we're seeing with Yamamoto. Once he gets settles in, you're cooked. You might want to get him in the first inning. I mean, look, the first inning, he's got 21 plate appearances, only 4 strikeouts. That's a little bit telling here in the early going, but interesting nonetheless. And I don't even know if this is updated. So he might have, the ERA might be even higher if 3 of those runs were yesterday. All right, pretty cool. Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, what else we got here? I don't know crap about this Eduardo Rivera guy who's getting called up from Double-A, but when he pitches, we'll take a look at him for sure. I think he's going to the bullpen. Red Sox called the pitcher up straight up, but I think totally they want to use in the rotation. I think this guy might be a bullpen arm. Am I wrong about that? Looking back, this Red Sox offseason may be one of the worst ever. Feels like they overpaid for the wrong guys because of the Devers Breggy sitch. The Japanese, oh, my dad's in the chat. Japanese have a 5,000-year tradition of how to train physical techniques. They sure do, Pops. They're the best. We can learn so much from their approach. And yeah, Rivera's going to the pen. They only have 4 starters on the roster, though, don't they? They probably have an off day or something that they're working around. I also saw not a good sign that Patrick Sandoval was pulled off of throwing for a little bit with some forearm discomfort. Don't love that. Yoshi has a 4.44 in the first inning ERA career. Laugh my ass off. Yeah, interesting there. All right, what else we got going? 12:05. We'll probably kick it for another 20-ish or so, and then I got to go pick up my wife and go to lunch. What else is on the sheet today? On the sheet, if there's anything you guys want to say, I mean, we could look at Otto Lopez. We've been getting a lot of requests from Will, the Heat fan, about Otto Lopez, right, Will? My guy. Devers only got traded because Liverpool wanted Wirtz and Isak. Let me just see what else I had written down. Oh, yeah, Bryce Terang, maybe. James Wood, maybe. But I've been convinced to look at Otto Lopez of the Marlins. So we're going to do that. He is really off to a great start. I have often thought this guy had pretty good potential. I faced him a number of times with the Marlins. Obviously, I love his name, Otto. You know, why wouldn't you like that? He's very quick to the ball. So that means he's more ready for fastballs, particularly in the inner third, than most guys. So that, you know, automatically that just makes him a little sketchy sometimes to pitch to. You're not going to be able to just jump ahead of him as well. He is off to a great start. Through 97 plate appearances, he has 28 hits, 3 home runs, 4 bags, 318 average, 371 on base, 523 slug, 894 OPS. Here are the metrics. He doesn't walk that much. He tends to be a little bit of a free swinger, but he also doesn't swing and miss a lot. Bat speed's right in the middle, which is actually pretty good for a contact-oriented hitter. So I actually like a lot of these metrics. Plus, you can see he's a tremendous base runner and a really good defender. So now you're looking at a complete player who's going to put up some WAR. And there's a reason why, Will the Heat fan was asking me to take a look at him. Batting run value, 98th percentile. Base running run value, 1st percentile. Fielding run value, +1, +1. 83rd percentile, 75th percentile. Very, very good. Let's see his damage swings this year. All right, here's a double. He's got that little crouch up there, but I mentioned how he's quick inside. So generally as a pitcher, when you see a guy who's super quick inside, you want to work him away. But he's also a little bit up on the plate at times, and that makes me feel like he's a little bit harder than most to just spam away. Here's a triple. Because then you feel like you really have to pitch on the edge. This is a breaking ball from a lefty. He's going to smack that into the gap. Run, Otto, run. And that's a nice, easy triple. Did they get him from somebody? Was he acquired? Let's get crazy. He's a 5-tool player. You can't give him 5 tools. He's got below average arm strength, to be fair. All right, we got a double, 2 doubles, another triple, and then we'll watch the dingers. Here's a double to the other side. Ooh, stays inside that. Pretty nice. Gives that a good ride. 1 hop off the wall to right. That's a nice swing. I love those Marlins jerseys, by the way. And then another double coming up here. This is pull side versus Casey Mize. Oof. Swing's looking super dialed. Oh, Carpenter almost has that. Doesn't have it, so he's going to get himself a triple there, as that's so deep out there in Detroit. All right, let's watch the homers. 3 homers here. Here's homer number 1 off of Leisure. Oh, see you later, ball. Man, he's really keeping his head down on everything. Really nice. Crushing in, staying tight, not pulling out. Here's the second home run. This is also off of, it's off of Connor Siebold. Mentioned he likes the ball in. Fastball in. Smash City. Ooh, Riley Green tried to get there. Couldn't get there. Didn't get the free pizzas. And then here is his last home run. This is probably a pretty good poke. Marlins Park to right center. Didn't know he had this type of juice in his game. Sorry, I doubted you, Otto Lopez. Great swing there. Goes out to right center. As a righty, he's very explosive and quick. He is. If he's a Marlins hitter, there's a 100% chance he didn't start in the org, right? Yeah, he came from somewhere else. They got him from San Francisco. He was a Blue Jay. That's right, he was a Blue Jay. You don't usually see the dudes with that high of squared up league average bat speed. Yeah, that's really good. Usually if you're squared up, you have low bat speeds. That's a good comment right there. He hit that 100.7, so that ball traveled pretty good. Only a home run in 10 of 30 parks. You know what? Let's give him the treatment on the True Media for a little bit. Let's see what he's looking like here in the early going, what he is hitting. Otto Lopez versus righties on the hard stuff. Actually, look at the great swing decisions he's making in off the plate, which I think is key. When you're good in, you tend to chase in off the plate. He's not chasing in off the plate, but he's also covering the outer third really well, which is something he didn't do as well before. He's got good plate coverage all over on fastballs. You see if you make a mistake middle in with him with a breaking ball, which is this heat map right here, kaboom. And then changeups are great, but he doesn't see a ton of them. Versus the lefties, again, murdering inside, can't try to get in on him. And then, yeah, it's just a matter of don't make mistakes with the breaking stuff. So that's kind of what we expected to see. Old Otto Lopez here. Bat speed is about league average. What's the swing length? Marlins are one of the teams with the shortest swing lengths in the game. Let's see what Otto Lopez is working with. 6.8, below average swing length. Gotta love that. So he's combining above average bat speed slightly with above average in terms of keeping his swing short. Great combination. Marlins have a ton of that. Stowers being the best example. Casey's pretty good. Otto Lopez is another one. That's going to allow you to do the best of both worlds. Have some power, cover hard shit, not get beat in as much, be a little more accurate to the ball because your swing's not as long. Less things can go wrong with a short swing. So I'm loving that. I'm loving that a lot. Marlins have a lot of good things happening at the moment, even though I obviously hate their pitch calling stuff. Let me look at the Marlins by their expected stats. First, this is the pitchers. They have every pitcher's pitching well except for Nardi, and I think he'll come around. He's pretty good. That's amazing to look at. Let's look at their batters. Typically, this is where they usually stink. Edwards, we've talked about him. He's a really good player. Liam Hicks has been raking. And Otto Lopez, there he is, our number 3. The rest of them are below average. So if they can get a couple more hitters, this team might be a complete team. Because they're pitching the crap out of the ball. Damn, my Marlins going to the chip. I don't know about that, but they got some pieces here, man. They do. Marcy's gotten off to an incredibly slow start. Norby's an interesting prospect. Obviously, we talked a lot about Owen Casey. Agustin Ramirez impacts the ball. Sanoa's an interesting player. Not really a great offensive player, but interesting player. And these 3 at the top all have some upside. Edwards, Hicks, and Otto Lopez. Otto Lopez turning it on really nice. All 3 of those guys hitting over 300. And that's why the Marlins are hanging in there doing the good so far. So, go Marlins. Go Marlins. They're collecting those Canadians. What's not to like about our friends from the north, Rockies are doing the pitch calling thing now too, though they're suggestions, I guess. I mean, they're all technically suggestions. I need to know more information. Is this all about pitch percentage optimization? Is it all about forcing guys to pitch more to a scouting report, or is it some combination? I'd like to know. I would like to know, where do the Marlins rank on the shortstop second base tandems in the league? Ooh, that's a tough one. Well, I love the Cubs. Dansby, Horner. Who else do I really love up the middle? It's hard to say the Mets now because Semien has fallen off a cliff. While we're here, let me just take a quick peek at the Mets. I don't want to do too much Mets talk, but man, Marcus Semien. 298, okay. So it's not as bad as I thought, but man, he just looks really bad at the plate right now. All right, what other middle infield combos? Can't go with the Yankees. Red Sox, they're not there right now. Blue Jays, pretty good. Jimenez, especially defensively, Jimenez, Ernie, but no, they're probably not the top of the league either. Who else? Who else is on my mind here at the middle? There's a couple teams with some bangers. Padres. If it's Tatis and Bogarts, that's pretty good. Arise, Adames is pretty good. I don't know. Philly, Stott Trey, maybe? Okay. I don't know. Tough question there. We had a prediction for him at the beginning of the year. I chose Marlins to go to the playoffs. Believe. Attaway, Spectre. You need vets in the clubhouse to tell a young batter that they don't have to take suggestions from the dugout when they feel wrong. You know what's tough, though? And I actually, I'm not a huge Foul Territory fan, but I heard them talking yesterday. I listened to a little bit of their pod talking about the pitch calling. A lot of it's about, like, where does the blame go when shit goes wrong? And so I remember back in the day, the Yankees had the wristband, and, the catchers were told to really call to the wristband mostly. And so they would. And the reason why they would is because then they had the ability to say, hey, I just called the pitch you wanted me to call, and shit went wrong. It's not on me. Whereas usually catchers get chewed out all the time when something goes wrong. Why would you call slider there? Blah, blah, blah. But now the onus kind of shifts to the coaching staff if they're the ones calling the pitches, and the players are going to say, fuck it, especially the catchers. Fuck it. You want to call it? Call it. It's on you then, man. It's on you. I get it. But for me, as a pitcher, I didn't care about the blame game as much as I wanted to win and lose on my own terms. I didn't want to lose on somebody else's terms. So as a pitcher, I would reject it hardcore. But I understand a little bit of the catcher dilemma there. They give you the pitch calls, kind of want to follow what they're giving you just so that you're not going to get in trouble, Bobby Witt got to be up there on his own. Yeah. I mean, I do think Gunnar and Jackson Holliday, if he was healthy, that's a potential one, but it hasn't been there yet. The pitch calling is working, in my opinion. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be okay with the team like the Marlins a little bit because they don't have any vets anyway who really know what they're doing, except for a few guys. So at least keep them in their lanes. Plus, they play in a good pitcher's park. We'll see long term. I don't think any team that does this strategy will win in the postseason. I'll say it might work well, like at a big sample size, but I don't think it's going to work in the postseason. What's going on with Roman Anthony? Nothing. He's just not hot yet. A lot to like about Roman right now. And he's just not hot yet. Hasn't gotten a lot of hits to fall. He's hitting 225, but the on base is still good. He'll be at over 800 OPS shortly, in my opinion. He just hasn't gotten going yet. I don't see anything there. Are the Mets lacking team chemistry? I have no idea. I'm not there anymore. How much does chemistry factor in? It's the chicken and the egg. Winning creates chemistry. Sometimes chemistry helps you win. I think you absolutely need it. But, how it's formed, I mean, that's up for debate. So I'm not in there. I don't really have any idea. Is CJ Abrams an early MVP candidate? He's been playing great, right? CJ and James Wood. Let's check up on those two guys. That'll be my last thing today. CJ Abrams and James Wood, two Nats guys. Let's check in on the two best Nationals players. CJ Abrams in the early going through 100 plate appearances, 296, 420 on base. Wow, 556 slug, 976 OPS, 6 homers, 5 bags. The biggest thing for him has always been he swings too much. But right now he's driving a 67 percentile walk rate. That's massive for him. That's why he's got the 420 on base. Because he's always had power. He can really hit top of the zone really well. Which is a special, unique ability for guys. So that's impressive. And, he's always been a good player. I've heard that he needed to mature a little bit, that he needed to get his head straightened on a little bit. He's not been good at shortstop this year defensively, 7th percentile and outs above average so far. So maybe he can move off that position as we go forward. But the guy can definitely hit. And he might be making the leap here at age 25 season. It looks like the chase rate is probably, well, not the chase rate, the overall walk rate seems to be the biggest difference. What are we looking at here? Yeah, walk rate. He was 20th percentile last year, 67th right now. That's also helping his K percentage. Chase percentage, 20th percentile, but again, it's not 10th at least. Still swinging and missing, but that means he's getting his A swing off more often, I would imagine. Bat speed has remained constant, so he's hitting the ball harder. I bet you he's just swinging harder more often, and then that's also driving people out of the zone, so the walk rate's going up. All right, let's watch the homers he has hit. C.J. Abrams. Breaking ball away. He's also got great plate coverage. He's always had great plate coverage. So that ball sails out on a home run there off of Brad Keller. We'll just keep working to the right, more towards the line. Let's see if he gets any way above the zone homers, because he typically does. Up and right on cue. Emmett Sheen, high heater, not a strike. That's a pitch he dominates with. And CJ takes him out. That's an impressive swing, guys. Emmett Sheen does not get clipped on the up and away four seam often out of the zone. So that's part of a CJ Abrams superpower right there, is that he can cover that. Not a lot of guys can. All right, next home run. This one's off of Skeens. Heater up middle, destroyed at 100 miles an hour. Also can cover velocity. Lot to like with CJ at the plate, no doubt about it. Especially the way he's swinging it right now. Here's another home run. Off of Svanson. Backspins that cutter. That's gone. Nice swing there. And then we got two more maybe. Here's one down the line.
Sure about that.
Off of Mitch Keller.
He's done a much better job.
Man, so he's hitting all sorts of pitch types too. Backdoor breaking balls, hung breaking balls, cutter in, fastball up. You almost hit that one out of the stadium. It's a nice swing there. And then there is one more here if I can get to it. I can. It is off of Ben Kasparius. Curveball and a curveball. He's almost hit every pitch type out for a homer. That's freaking awesome. So yeah, he's off to a great start. I mean, it's early. Of course, he'll be in the mix if he finished at a 976 OPS. But he's in the mix. All right, James Wood, the other guy, and this guy I've heard does have his head screwed on perfectly straight. And I mean, I've had multiple members of the Nats organization talk him up like he could be a Hall of Famer someday. So I've always been very interested on him. I faced him a bunch of times. I struck him out sometimes. Ultimately, this is a guy who does a great job controlling the zone. He's got that Schwarber profile here with a lot of the in-zone whiff, and he does strike out a lot, but he doesn't chase a ton. 70th percentile chase. That's what makes him such a dynamic offensive player. He's been a little bit streaky at the plate over the first couple years. But I think that the consistency will kind of normalize over the next year or so. He's only 23 years old. And I think this guy has 1,000 OPS upside. He's got Yordan Alvarez upside as he continues to improve his game. I know he went off yesterday, so I'm tempted to just jump into that. They played the Braves. They beat the first place Braves yesterday. I want to see this home run he hit so I can get a side view of it. 1 for 2 with 4 walks. I mean, look at that. Walk, homer, walk, intentional walk, fly out. So that's a sign of a really, really dangerous hitter. All right, Ronaldo Lopez. First pitch, curveball down. On the one hand, I want Wood to pull the ball more. On the other hand, does he really need to? So I saw a whole video where Driveline's talking about how can he start pulling the ball more in the air. He'd be a worse hitter if he pulled the ball more in the air. In my opinion, he doesn't need to. He's got some of the best oppo pop in the game, and I think it gives him a chance to be more adjustable versus some other guys. Hold on, I need to give a quick shout out to both of my guys here. Both guys that I played under, some of the best dudes in the game. Walt Weiss, my manager in Colorado. Jeremy Hefner, my pitching coach from the Mets. Those guys are the best. All right. Slider, check swing. And let's see what happens here. 2-2 slider. This time he lays off it, so that's that chase rate coming into play, and then he's going to murder this pitch for an Oppo home run, 93-1. Wham. It's a line drive to the other field. That's a double for everybody else, but not James Wood. That ball goes off the back of the bullpen wall because he hits it 114.5 at 20. It's special, guys. It's special. He's got more juice than Murakami, in my opinion. He can go the whole field. This is why this guy's got 40, 50 home run like ceiling. For sure. 50, 55 home run ceiling. It's there. He could be the man. This guy's a freaking beast. Now, I don't know if he can play the field at all. Looks kind of lost out there in the outfield at times. But this is just a special ability to hit an opposite field line drive where you cut your swing off the back wall of that bullpen. I mean, that's a joke. Just touches it, man. What a ball player. And this is the best piece they got in any of those trades. You know, I know they got CJ as well, but I think this is the best piece they got. Just in rhythm, opposite field. I'm touching it and see you later. What else we got here? Every time I look at Nats players, Savant, he's one of the worst defenders in the league. He is. There's a lot of guys that are bad hit, but he's going to end up DHing. I mean, I said Yordan. His upside is more Yordan for me than anything else. I mean, yes, he's bad in the outfield, but to me, he's probably going to end up moving to first base and DH at some point, but the offense is just ridiculous. He's 23. As a 22-year-old, he put up an 825, and that's with a horrible month where he had like a 100 OPS for a month. So if he can just be a little more consistent throughout this year, I'm telling you, he's 950 OPS or better. I mean, this guy's a freaking monster, and I know they're in a full rebuild, but they do have two interesting pieces. I would never give up on James Wood. I would extend the mundo him if I could. CJ, maybe think about trading him a little bit. He's hot right now. Cash in on that value a little bit. You know what I mean? He does need to hit the ball in the air. Not sure what his ground ball rate is this year. Let's check that. I mean, he definitely needs to hit the ball in the air. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, this is what you're talking about, that pull air percentage. I mean, that's insanely low, 5.3. He should be pulling breaking balls, hitting opposite field line drives. We should be pulling breaking balls. As for the overall profile, right now he's at 47.4% ground ball. That's still above average, but it is a little better. It's a small baby step uptick in terms of hitting more fly balls than he was in 24 or 25. So he's moving in the right direction, 52.6% in the air. That's better than that's a career high at the moment. So I think he's improving, and I think he'll learn to turn on some breaking balls and pull side him as we move forward here. Four seam is just a no-fly zone on him. Back-to-back years now, he's been really good on four seams. So good to check that out. All right. We're done now pretty much. We're going to do probables here in a minute. Let's see what we got in the chat. Hey, AIO, I know this is Baseball and Coffee. Would you ever consider doing a watch party whenever a talented pitcher is on the mound? So sometimes we do baseball after dark. The issue is I can't watch the game live. I have to watch it on the Dugout app, and it only gives me the broadcast angle once that half inning is over. So sometimes during a game, we do watch that. We do watch it kind of semi-live, like kind of on a slight delay. And it's fun, but I can't watch it fully live due to the broadcast rights. So that's the one downside. But, you know, that's why I like to do a lot of review stuff the next day in the morning. I think it's really fun. If out of the park baseball is any predictor, Wood ends up at first base. Yeah, I think he does too. I hate moving a 22, 23-year-old at DH. Well, for now, they won't. They'll continue to work on his outfield ability because they don't have anything to lose. They're not making the postseason. And, you know, maybe you turn him into a neutral defender, and then you maybe can let him play outfield for a decade. But if not, I mean, yeah, you got first base and DH, and he hits enough to play those positions, in my opinion. They can't trade Abrams to the A's. Why not? The Padres need a better than 5-game NLCS loss to convince myself that trading every single prospect ever is a good idea. Yeah, I mean, they didn't get it. They didn't get the end result there. They had the Dodgers on the ropes. They weren't able to finish them off. And, you know, unfortunately, that's going to define that a little bit. But I don't know, man. AJ's so aggressive, Preller. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. I'm not like a Padre fan, so I don't know how to feel about that. Get that express written consent from MLC to disseminate. We're out here disseminating. Yeah, I got it on the day after. I just can't get it live. You know what I'm saying? Like and subscribe. Support the stream. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, because he loves to gamble. Ha, 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 ha. A lot of players do. Hopefully not on baseball, though. Padres going to be the sellers by the deadline? I don't know, man. They're tied for first right now. They still have a lot of talent on that team. All right. We've had a nice stream today. We're up at the 2-hour mark, so that means it's time for probables. We didn't do any prospects today, unfortunately, but we'll be back tomorrow. Maybe they'll get in the mix tomorrow. We'll see what today's games look like, and we'll go from there. Thanks for everybody who hung with me. We had up to about 110 people in here today, which is great. We're constantly looking to grow, but we want to do it organically. I'm not going to ask anybody, to do anything crazy, but I would love more subs, more attendance. I feel like we're getting into a really good sweet spot here in the big league, in the big league season. And we have a long way to go. So hopefully this continues to grow. And I really thank you guys so much for being with me every day. It makes it really, really fun. Let me read this real quick. Semantic Gaming. Otto, you ever play the show? Your WC card is amazing. I play with my nephew sometimes. I don't love the gameplay of MLB The Show that much. It's okay for me. But I do like playing it a little bit. I love Diamond Dynasty because, of course, I love players and I love to have, there's some people that made my travel team Youth Service League jerseys that you can download, in the archives there or whatever. So it's really fun, but I'm too much of a dad to have any time to grind games other than like Mario games with my kids. So I do love the show and I'm aware my card is OP. Everybody tells me that, and that's awesome. I feel like that's so cool as a kid who grew up playing baseball video games. But I was more of a FIFA guy, though, in my day. I will say that. All right, guys. Thanks so much. You guys are the best with the engagement. I really appreciate it. The engagement, for me, that's the biggest thing. I don't know if our baseball would let me promote the stream at all. Honestly, every time I try to post anything on Reddit, it got taken down for self-promotion, so I'm kind of out on it. But that's how a lot of people have discovered the show and the channel in general. So maybe other people can figure that out if they're a regular contributor. I don't know. All right, probables for today, Wednesday the 22nd. We got a 12-10 game today. That already started. Jansen Junk on the mound for the Marlins facing Kyle Leahy down at Lone Depot. Astros Guardians, Peter Lambert, Tanner Bybee. Peter Lambert in this picture looking like he's not even looking at home plate. Reds Rays, Williamson, Nick Martinez. So Nick Martinez going against his former team in the Trop today. Orioles, Royals, Bassett, Waka. Kind of similar guys, like vets at this point. Waka's been off to a great start. Did get beat by the Yankees last game, but I think he'll pick up where he left off. This is a big game for the Orioles and the Royals. They both need to play a little better here in the early going. Bassett pitched a little better his last start, hasn't gotten rolling yet. Jays, Angels, Lauer, and then the guy that I am literally chilling in the front, driving the bandwagon, Jose Soriano, my guy. Can he keep it going? He's been scoreless a lot. He's under 1 ERA. Can he keep it going? Jose Soriano tonight versus the Jays. Athletics, Mariners, Savali and Logan Gilbert from Seattle. Brewers, Tigers, Chad Patrick and Casey Mize. Mize has been sneaky pretty good so far for the Tigers as well, giving him a nice three-headed monster with Framber and Skubal. Braves, Nats, Didier Fuentes is back up. He had the best spring training I've ever seen. Then got sent back. Now he's back up. We'll see how he looks. He's facing Littell and the Nats tonight. Yankees, Sox. Ooh, nice pitching matchup here. Maximus Freed and Texas Ranger Suarez going for the Sox in Fenway. Two lefties in Fenway. This should be an interesting matchup. I'll probably be watching this one quite a bit, as well as this one, hoping that the Mets can snap the streak. Twins and Mets, Connor Prelep, who I've never seen pitch, versus Clay Holmes, who has looked great. If you're looking for some positives of the Mets right now, they have three pitchers who are pitching great. Holmes, Peralta, and McLean, obviously. Let's see if Holmes can keep that going. He looks great to me right now. Phillies, Cubs, Kyle Backus, and Matthew Boyd. Welcome back, Matthew Boyd. So we'll see how he looks versus the Phillies tonight at Wrigley. Pirates, Rangers, at Braxton Ashcraft, and Jack Leiter tonight from Globe Life. Leiter's still been pretty good in the early going, I would say, right? Let me click on him real quick. Hold on. I don't want to look at that. Whatever. I don't care anymore. All right. Padres, Rockies. Walker Buehler, Tomoyuki Sugano from Coors. I know last night was a 1-0 game. Damn, I forgot to watch Dollander. I feel like I did Dollander a disservice because he pitched great last night, and I didn't get to scope that on the stream. But it's too late now. I don't think I have time. I have to go get the wife. Shoot, I feel bad that I missed Dollander. All right, Buehler, Sugano, we'll see how that one rolls. White Sox, Diamondbacks, Anthony K. and Erod from the desert. And then pulling up the rear tonight, Shohei on his mission to win the Cy Young, clearly, is going up against the Giants. So let's see if Shohei can keep rolling. He's been great in the early going on the mound, and he's facing Tyler Mahle. This advantage to me favors the Dodgers, but you never know. You never know. Man, I feel bad for Chase Dollander that I didn't get to break down that game. I am curious for 2 seconds though, before I say goodbye, just to take a look. I know he gets the L in this game. He ended up going 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. He walked in a run on some pretty borderline close pitches to Manny. 9 punchies at Coors and 102 pitches. What was the mix at Coors? 44 four-seamers, 17 sliders, 12 sinkers, 11 changeups, 10 curveballs, 8 sweepers. Love it. Huge diversity. Plus, he's really leaning into the VAA approach at Coors, like that. His arm slots come down a little bit, I feel like, and he's up shooting. That's going to play at Coors. You're not going to get the IVB, so just create it on your own. Create the angle on your own. I love that. They've made some small changes, and it's really paying off along the edges. Also, he's got some of the best velocity in the whole league. I mean, he averaged 99.2 last night on his four-seam. Did get 30% whip, which is amazing for Coors. Needs to do better with his first pitch strikes, but I feel like all that will clean up, and this guy's headed in a very, very good direction right now. I don't have enough time to watch this whole game, but everything's coming up roses for him right now with a 2.88 through 25 innings as a member of the Rockies. Not an easy thing to do in a 1-flat whip. When are they going to give him his own game, I wonder. I do wonder. All right. That's it, and that's all for me today. I am tired, and I have to go get the wife and go to lunch soon. I might film the Connor Griffin video yesterday. Nobody is watching my Justin Crawford video, so we must not have a lot of Phillies fans floating around the channel. But I thought he was really impressive. I think it's worth watching if anybody has an hour to kill at some point and they want to check out a pretty exciting rookie. I mean, he doesn't play the game the way that anybody else does these days. He's basically wants to hit a hard ball on the ground or on a line the other way. And that's his game. He's got good walk percentage as well. He knows he's at the bottom of the order. He's got to get on base to flip the lineup over for Turner, Harper, Schwarber, all those guys. So far, so good. I really like his game, man. He has a little bit of a chase above the zone problem, but that's it. Other than that, I mean, he's never going to be a power guy, but he's a useful guy, a very interesting player. So that's the video I made there. Connor Griffin is up next. So curious to see what's gone right, what's gone wrong for the #1 prospect in the game's first exposure to the big leagues as a teenager. So expect that video coming your way either later today or tomorrow. And if not, I'll see you guys on the stream tomorrow. Same time as always, 10 a.m. Eastern on Thursday the 23rd tomorrow. So I'll see you guys then. And this has been a great stream. Thanks so much for hanging with me, and hope everybody has a great day. All right, adios.